Oh yeah. Hello there again. Implementing this function. Well, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere I need a map from a set key to a set index, and I already have that. And it is called set it's a personal project. Free software. You can get it from GitHub. If it was a company, then I would probably was not allowed to show all this work. I guess that I need a set key to set index in the same context as that my set keys are unique, which is the window. There's a window. Yeah, I might as well add it to the context. Or is it a silly idea? Well, that made sense. However, I need to access this object now, which means that I need access to this object, which means I need access to the window from here. Uniform buffer. This is a uniform buffer in shader resource, which is here. I don't think I have a window here. Unless I would add a window to the set key. I like that idea. I like that idea. Let's add here the vulkan is a synchronous window. It's the task. Synchronous window. Owning window. It's not really an owning window, but it is the window within this that this key is unique. And the window that owns the context, rather. Could you explain what a buffer is and how it relates to what you are doing? Where do you see the word buffer? Did you just get... Maybe it was a delay? Sorry, what buffer? Did you see a buffer? Usually buffer is just a amount of memory that you can store things in. And optionally it can grow, or it has a fixed size. And then, yeah, all kinds of different buffers. The way the data is added and is read back from it can be different. So instead of the key context reference, I'm going to pass the owning window, I think. And this is C++. Memory declaration? What do you mean? Allocation. Synchronous window pointer, yeah. You need an accessor for the context. No, the window is the window owning the key. Let's name it the context owning window. And now my key has a pointer to the owning window. So I can add a new accessor for this. Still going to call that context owning window. I'm stubborn. So now the uniform buffer has access to the window. I can add another accessor here, I guess. Task synchronous window. I think that this create has to be changed. Not sure, but it feels like it. Create is being past the window, which is used for two things. Yeah, not really interesting. I could write here. Yeah, that's definitely strange. Yeah, Sam, I'm sorry, it is more like... Can you play chess? I mean, it's like 20 years ago, I would sit on an IRC channel, and if people asked questions, other people would answer it, and I would only correct the people that gave the answers if they had it wrong. And that was 20 years ago. And you are apparently a beginner. And I mean a beginner. So chess has a big dynamic range, right? You have someone who just learns the rules, just learned the rules of maybe a rating of 800, and he will lose everything from someone who is playing chess every now and then against a family who has a rating of 1200, and that rating guy of 1200 is losing absolutely everything from a weak chess player with a rating of 1600, who is losing absolutely everything from a strong chess player with a rating of 2000, who is losing absolutely everything from a chess master, who is losing absolutely everything from a super grandmaster. I think we are several orders apart, so I just cannot really be bothered by the stopping what I'm doing and then giving you, I don't know, a lesson in C++. I didn't even read what the error was. Use of undeclared identifier set key. That's downright sad. I included it. What is set key then a member of? Set key is totally part of descriptor, of course. We are in descriptor and I am including it. Don't tell me that we... Oh, set index. No. It reads like a circular header dependency, which I hate. Set KeyPreference.cxs includes set KeyPreference.h, logical, which includes set key.h, which includes set key context.h, which includes set key to set index.h, which needs the definition of set key. That's not working. So yes, we have a circular header dependency. What exactly is the circle here? Set key context. I don't even see a key context there. There's no context. Now you're going to tell me that I have to include synchronous window.h. Cry. Okay, that's really sad. Yeah, okay. Anyway, when I'm doing it like this, I can delete that. That's nice. But I'm going to have a problem if I include synchronous window.h. It's the end of the world. That drags in like every header I have. Not going to do that here, definitely not. I guess I'm not going to inline this then, because I'm lazy. Let me just move this to a CSX file, which I even have, amazingly enough. Bum, 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 bum. Let's define that in namespace and task. No template named unique ID context and namespace utils. Really? Well, I can't say that is incorrect. Yeah, standard O stream. debug. That's interesting. Task synchronous window is not found. So by exception, not in task. No name typed set key context. I'm just passing it along, I think. Context. Reference. Descriptor set key. It's not a reference. Oh wait, it's the constructor of set key. Which, yeah, well, okay. Is no longer taking a context window, really, I just changed that, so really. Ouch. Oh, okay, I don't like this. Nope, not liking this at all. Shit. Yeah. One of the worst things is when you just make a decision and you add lines of code and stuff, and then at some point you come to the conclusion that it was wrong. This is a texture. I do not want my texture to depend on a window, because I might have multiple windows and I might use the same texture in multiple windows. How can the texture be owned by one window when it is easy to use the same texture in multiple windows? Therefore, I did not pass a window, I pass a logical device. I made that change even before in the past. I think it had a window and then I changed it to a logical device because of the same reason. But now this texture is suddenly a shader resource, which is questionable in itself, by the way. Maybe it should split them up. But okay, let's say I keep this set key part of the texture. I'm going to have to make the resource then. Yeah, if this is a shader resource, which is only specific to one given pipeline, I'm not going to use the same pipeline for different windows, am I? Oh, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Yeah, it's just wrong. It's wrong. horrible. Horrible, horrible. I moved texture to shader resource. How big is this div? Why do my divs every time grow? Just commit them and a few hours later they are huge again. Ridiculous amount of changes. Okay, I'm working pure on intuition here, I think. I think that texture should be part of namespace shader resource. But that means that it cannot be owned by a window. However, because it is a shader resource, it has a descriptor set key, which I'm passing here to the constructor of the texture. This is inside the window, derived from synchronous window, so this is a member function of the window. So the context is owned by this window, but then used for the texture, which should not be depending on the window. So that's wrong. This should not exist. I don't want to have a set key context being owned by a window. I could put it in the device, but that's just cheating because yeah, if I do that, it's kind of assuming that there is only one device. The device is the GPU, so the video card. Why not have two video cards and both video cards show the same texture, right? So it's more like the only thing that I can use is the application itself. The application class should be the context, making absolutely every descriptor set key unique for the whole application. And why not? What I like is make a little change and then as a result have an avalanche of changes that are enforced by compile errors. And I have to think less, I would say. It would be nice, however, if the current code compiled. Let me check that. I don't know what the last changes were that I made. It doesn't compile, yeah. That was the circular header dependency still. Oh. Okay. No problem. Well, I'll fix this as part of the other change then. I'm gonna do a git diff. This was definitely not what I wanted. To do git diff, and then we'll look at changes that I want. So this is what I want. This is what I do not want. Might as well just simply not pass this. I'm gonna plug it from the application, which is a singleton, so I can do that inside a constructor. Not going to pass this. Let's edit it. Probably can simply grab for this string because it probably happens in multiple places or is used in multiple places. Now let's start at the top. So here I'm creating a texture and I'm passing this thing, and I'm just not passing it anymore. Same thing here. I think I have another one down here. Yeah. And then we have the fourth one here. And I might as well then remove the whole function from the base class. I believe that I forgot what the name was. So this, right? Yeah. No more the function. No more context. I'm going to delete this and put it in the application. And then the big question is always, where am I going to put it? Somewhere down, I guess. Make it private. I don't know. This is the last member variable. Then we get some Tracy stuff. I don't know. Let's put it here. Oops. And we are in namespace. This is application. That is namespace vulkan. So this is not needed. And we need to include a header for it, I suppose, even though this is a .h, but yeah, we just have to, of course. Yeah, good. Going to need an accessor for it as well. Not many accessors here. This is a huge function, a use class, I mean. It's not really small. Sorry for the scrolling, but I have to look for a place to put this accessor. I guess all this added at the bottom-ish place again. The above further functions. These are not accessors. Here is something that could be used. Yeah, I don't know, man. It is really not the right place. It doesn't really fit in, let's put it that way. Context must be gotten by reference, and I'm going to we have an accessor, okay. I wish I could make more changes. Let's look at the git diff now. Okay, so what you see here is I moved texture to the shader resource namespace. Same thing here, and that's the only change. That's good. Scroll, scroll, scroll. So instead of memory, I am now including shader resource, uniform buffer. Also, uniform buffer was moved. No, not moved. I created a new one. Memory still exists. That is a wraparound vector of memory uniform buffers plus a descriptor set key. And this is using set KeyPreference. Texture was moved to shader resource. The vectors are now wrapped inside these objects. Which then takes care of this for loop as well. Already did look at the diff before, pretty much. Sorry, I should have done a commit. It looks all very familiar. And I'll just hit space. Descriptor set key context. Descriptor set key context. This is application, I guess. Yes, application. I just added that. Space works. Texture.h added. Textures also moved to. No, that it was moved to shader resource. Thus. What is this? Also texture move stuff. And again, and again, and again. And printing stuff, and more printing stuff. I'm moving the pointer, making it private, adding a accessor, adding a print on. Yeah, definitely looked at the diff before. And texture resource. I remember I looked at this and it was good. And then I thought, oh, let's add this one more thing. And that was hours and hours and hours ago. So I was almost committing it, and I thought, let's add one more little thing. And now should not have done that. But fortunately, I remembered. So we can go through it pretty quickly. Okay, so here I am adding a set key to the texture. That's okay. But it is not okay that we are passing the context. Yeah, if I get out of this and I forget where I was, I think. Or maybe I can just jump to. I can jump to this comment. Let's edit the texture. So vi share resource texture.h. There it is. Remove the set key context, which means we don't have the context here anymore. Oops. But we have application something. I guess instance descriptor set key. I'm definitely missing a context here. Context. Well, I'll see if it doesn't compile. So do that here again. No, do not here again. Simply do not pass start. Do not get $200. Same here. And well, that's it. What is this? Yeah, accessor. Good. So then I can go here back and then search for that, and then it doesn't exist anymore. What? Definitely still exists. Or it just disappeared from the div. Oh man. Probably should include application.h in this file, but let's just look at the compile errors and then fix it. So this thing is now passing a set key. Fix me need to be implemented. It's a declaration. We are at the end. Yay. Okay, now let's fix compile errors as much as possible. I think actually you should be able to now fix all the compile errors. Binding a reference of type descriptor set key context to value of type const descriptor set key context drops the const qualifier. Yeah, that was silly. If you pass a non-const reference, and it should not be a const member function. Error, incomplete type, that's what I meant. I need a header for the application now. Horrible typos. I'm super scared that if I add a monster header like this to another header, that can't be right, you know. That can't be right. You can't include application.h in a random header file, texture.h. So I shouldn't do that. It just, I mean, even if it's compiled, it just, no, don't do that. But if I want to use my application as a singleton simply to get global variables that are not really global, but application-wide unique, then I'm simply abusing application. I ran into this before. So yeah, before adding this, let's have a look, long look at application.h. So what am I exactly including if I do that? Oh yeah, right, okay. So like basically everything again. I think the solution here is to strip application.h of almost everything, so I don't need any headers anymore. So application.h should only contain declarations. How is that for a I don't know the word, side path? How do you say that? But yeah, if then you start using types, that you just have to include it, and must include queue request to get this. So the only way around that is to make a super small header that only defines cookie types. I can just include cookie types. Then I don't have to include the queue request anymore. Okay, task broker I can include, although task pipeline factory could work as long as I'm not constructing this thing. Oh, it's an index. It's just an index. That should probably work. But the stateful task also not a problem. It still drags in like huge stuff, of course. Stateful task is not a small thing, so I have to include this header. Yeah, there we go. Includes AI stateful task.h. But okay, at least it's not risking a circular header, but it's still making the headers very big. Yeah, memory pool, same thing. I think maybe I should just not use the application. It's just kind of an abuse of them. You see how huge this thing is. Application owns a thread pool, queue handles, event loop, resolver for the DNS lookups, blah blah blah. And I'm going to abuse it to put the descriptor set key context in it. No. It doesn't even need that. I need a different class that is just simply going to be the go-to singleton to put stuff in, and even not that, right? Not that. I mean, that works well as long as that new class is small, but suppose I'm going to need a lot of those things. So now I add a set key context to it. And then maybe I add another and another and another and another. And each of these things need their own headers. And then I have to include all those headers every time I want to access only one of them. No. What I really want is simply a singleton set key context. Just make it a singleton of its own. That's what I should do, I think. Yep, so the set key context is currently this. And it has to be put somewhere. And now I found out that I do not want to put it as a member in a window. I want to have only one of it in the whole application, and I wanted to put it in application. That's stupid. I should just make this a singleton instead of using the application singleton. Finally I see the light. So this is no more. Yep, not going to put that here. No accessor needed. I'm going to change descriptor, set key context into a singleton. Well, I can tell you one thing, it has to be derived from singleton something to making it a singleton. I think that's the first time I use singleton in this whole project. Let me see how many I have. Singleton. Yep. Unbelievable. Really? Oh, in the project. Okay. And what about it? That's a lot more. But that's a lot of them means utils, so that's probably the definition of the singleton itself. Thread pool is a singleton. Resolver class is a singleton, dbus task, and event loop thread. So it's being used a little bit more often. How to use it? Singleton. Usage. Class my singleton, public singleton my singleton. And then we need other stuff. I'm just going to copy it because I cannot remember all of this. Okay, we will. So all of this now has to be renamed from my singleton to set key context. And voila, we have a real singleton. With lots of expertise of me in the past. Out of the box. Still have to include the header for that. Util singleton, I guess. That's an older one. Right, that was in utils singleton.h. I'm just going to compile it, I guess. Yep, so there we are. We do not have an application instance here because it did not include the header. But we need the descriptor set key context, which is defined in descriptor as the set key context instance. No, wait a minute. Instance is simply already the context then, right? So like this. Yep, You would say that something is missing, but I think that that mean it's, yeah, no, that should work. It still feels like something is missing, but it's probably hidden in the template. I'm gonna have a look at it. Of course, yeah, the friend instance is the instance, or it's the friend instance, but okay. Difficult stuff, man. I wrote this so long ago. I think this originates from 20 years ago, and then I rewrote it maybe a few times. But basically I started working on this 20 years ago. It's a really old class. This was part of libcw, which is not even on my homepage anymore. You're gonna be kidding me. Let's see, CWD, but wow. Wow. For the longest time I had a web page with lots of documentation even about libcw. And that's where it came from, long ago. No matching constructor for initialization of descriptor set key. Right, because I changed it to taking a synchronous task window, which is bullshit. Synchronous window. I just want to have the set key context here as a reference. That is pretty much in the same. And this is a reference. I think you're just a well, that's what I called it. Descriptor set key context, really. Right. Slightly strange if I did not already include that. I'm including set key. That does not include the context. No, it doesn't. It's a forward declaration there. This is a .h file, but hopefully not a recursive one. Context. Come on, hop. No member named context owning window. Well, I'm glad. If it gives a compile error, you just have to delete it. Okay, maybe not. 96%, we're getting there. Linking. And linking again, and everything just works. Well, it compiles, but that was the whole idea, right? I don't know why it compiled. I think it's time to commit this diff, because well, I already looked at this several times now. Yeah. So I have something is missing. Something is missing. I have a texture with a set key that is now initialized, but what about my uniform buffer? Am I still not going to commit it? It's a bit too stubborn, but I'm just curious. If I list shader resource and then I edit this file, and I see that it has a set key, which is initialized from a context that is being passed. But that's what I meant, that this should not happen. So maybe I'm not creating a uniform buffer at all. Probably not. And what the hell is that? Just move assign later. Then why am I initializing the set key? That's the same thing as in the texture.h. Then we also had both. And this also. Let's compare them. They should pretty much be the same. So include those both. And this is how it is initialized, but this one has a default constructor which is not assigning a a set key context, because kind of doesn't make sense. And we have a accessor. Okay. So if I go here and I will ask myself, I mean the comment is the same, used to move assign later. It's not really true. It's not really true. Is it? Isn't it the creator does it? The create does it. The create fills M uniform buffers. So that's this one. Well, that one already should be initialized. So the comment is wrong. Let's create to initialize M uniform buffers. Now everything looks good. Now I'm finally going to commit this. Git commit, wait, status first. And again, we have a shitload of new files. Can you believe it? I think I added like 20 files today. At least the last commit also had a whole long list of new files. So look at them. If they look a little bit sane, just a little bit is okay. 1G set key in a namespace. Yep. Well, more or less, yeah. That is a singleton. The context is a singleton. Build on. Alright, this one I'm first going to commit. I'm going to commit. Let's just commit this, man. Yeah, well. Uniform buffer, synchronous window, really? Owning window to create. Oh. Why? Okay, this feels wrong. Create. Passes it to max number of frame resources. That is indeed. Yeah, otherwise I would only need a logical device. Oh, horror. Horror. You really gotta be kidding me, right? Now the number of frame resources is related to the render loop. And the render loop is related to the window. If I have two windows, I can run them with different render loop. Different frames per second, different number of buffers, completely independent. So yes, the number of frame resources is window dependent. But that makes uniform buffer window dependent. And uniform buffer exists right next to my texture. Oh, they are not exactly the same, actually. Definitely not. Uniform buffers need a copy for each frame resource. The idea is you write to the uniform buffers every frame, and then while the GPU is busy with one uniform buffer, you can already write to the next one. So you're gonna alterate or use 3 of them or something like that. For texture, this is not needed because you don't change them. But there is an essential difference. Okay, I could have textures used in multiple windows, but not uniform buffers. That would not be a good idea. If you write to them every frame and the windows run on different frame rates, I mean, writing to the uniform buffer and then thinking that you can use them in 2 different windows is not good. So I think this kind of, okay, works. Yes, next. That was the last one. Git. Yeah, git add the same shit. Git status. Clean up. And now we're going to write a really long commit message. Commit minus a minus message work in progress. Look how many whips I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each of them is big. Nobody will ever understand what I did. Ha ha ha, evil laughter. Okay, so with that out of the way, I should go to bed because it's like, again, way too late. I mean, it gets status is clean, it makes, and if I run it, it crashes in an assert, which I know exactly which assert. Core dump, yeah, this one. See, then this one. Told you so, must be implemented. That's what I was working on. And then I started doing other stuff and ended up with doing a commit. But that's good. That's good. I am going to continue tomorrow.